Jen, I know I'm maybe being happy clappy again, but a lot of people are saying it. I just think they are underestimating the anger of women in terms of this midterm turnout. I mean, we did a whole stack this morning. It just gets worse and worse and worse, right, in terms of women's rights.
I think, too, that, Twitter is not the voting world, although there was a lot of vote suppression going on Twitter with bots and all of that. But I think in general, the opinions of people saying, I'm not voting, he needs to do more, I don't think that's as many people as we think. It's enough we really need to watch that. But I do think a lot of people are motivated, independents, even conservative women. My mom is not a liberal by any means. She's not conservative either. She's just sort of whatever.
Yeah.
And Catholic. And I talked to her about really what this means, that it's really not just about abortion. And she really understood it. And she's 83 years old. And she was like, wow, that's really not the world I grew up in. My mom took the birth control pill in order to have me as a baby because it cleared up her endometriosis. And that was the 70s. And to think that we're going to even get to a point where people can't use birth control, which is not just about preventing pregnancy, which is fine if that's all it was. But so, I mean, I think if you get someone like my mom getting it, then I do think more people are motivated than perhaps before.
And that's what Sandra Fluke testified about, that she needed birth control for endometriosis, and then Rush Limbaugh called her a slut for a week on the air. And I mean, it's
right. I
mean, I don't know if you saw these last week, all the testimony with Republican men. If they could know less about women's bodies, I mean, if I could be more of a lesbian after last week, I was, because what was the one doctor, female doctor, had to say to because he was like, well, what if you could take a pill? What if a woman, you could find out what was good? And she's like, it does not end up in the vagina if you take a pill.
Right. So a turtle or a taco.
Right. Like, they're just the questions they ask are really.
I might have to switch teams. I don't know how anyone can be single and straight in this world.
What?
I might have to come on over to the.
Oh my. Would it involve blowing a tire, or you would
Stephanie.
choose it? What? We're writing a different scenario now.
But I'm just saying, I don't know. It's very hard as a straight woman to just be interested in pairing up with a man right now who, because I think even good men don't understand anything. I mean, I do jokes in my act about periods, and a lot of guys don't even know what age a woman stops having it. I mean, literally, men were saying about voting for Hillary, what if she gets her period and it changes her mood? It's like, she's not getting her period.
That's my famous story when I was on CNN during that whole thing, and a right-wing guy wrote me, you just want free birth control pills. And I'm like, right, a middle-aged lesbian. That's really my main concern is my free birth control pills, you idiot. Okay.
It's your number one wish to Santa every year.
Uh-huh.
By the way, the only red dripping down the walls ever has been from Trump's ketchup. So,
okay.
Hey,
that was deal with a menstruation joke. You know what? Wear a cup.
Just deal with
Wear
it,
a cup
people.
next time, Chris.
Ooh.
I wish we could get creative with protests, like throw tampons or something, or baby dolls on Kavanaugh's, lawn or something. I don't know what that's going to do, but I just want to harass him until he can't take it anymore and he has to change his mind.
Let's talk about you doing the backstroke in the lady leg to me. Let's talk about that.
Oh,
more.
Stephanie.
She brought it up about switching teams.
Yeah, and now you're not going to let it go.
No.
Another segment we're wasting.
Suddenly I don't even know how to swim, so this is going to go horribly. I'm going to drown.
No, but just his reaction. His reaction is
and I'm going to be like, I'm dying.
You'll be surprised to know there was a man period. But what is, they can't even see the Tampax on the back of the toilet. What is that?
No,
Why, Chris,
no.
what is it? I don't.
Because that is something that we don't need to know about at all.
See, all this gun control argument, you don't need a gun, just a box of Tampax, right? I got one. I got a whole.
It's like,
here.
you don't
look, I have a plug.
You don't know what balls look like.
I guess I do.
Not really.
I do.
Yes, I do.
You're not missing anything, Steph.
Have we thought about that? That's actual feminine protection. Just use a tampon. Just get away from me.
But I have to say, when men say we don't need to know that, I mean, I know about male culture because it's shoved in my face my whole life, you know?
Right.
So I feel like men do need to know.
Right.
For all I know, it's colored blue, like in those, MaxiPad commercials. When they pour the liquid on it, it's always blue.
Do you know that when I first got my period, I was a little confused that it wasn't blue? No one explained.
Yeah.
It was not a blue liquid.
Because you weren't a Smurf. Yeah. It was not, yeah.
Smurfette, yeah. Uh-huh.
I remember I was concerned because I had a male teacher in 5th grade. When I was like, oh no, I have to tell Mr. Raymond that I have a. But that's the other thing is because of hormones in our food and stuff, right? Like girls are getting periods younger because that's what the whole like, I don't believe it, 10 years old. And it's like, yes. And also, by the way, it can very likely kill a 10-year-old trying to, their hips aren't wide enough, like, to give birth. It's.
And also, like, our brains aren't fully developed until we're 26. Like, just the emotional toll that will take on her.
Yeah.
This notion that she's going to have a baby and love it and it's going to be some great experience. It's the end of her life. I mean, that's the death we're talking about.
Yeah. And Speaker Pelosi talking about the bill they just passed in Congress.
Today, we must pass this legislation for a second time. We first passed this bill last September after Texas severely restricted the ability of women to access reproductive care with SB 8, outrageous bounty hunter bill. A bounty hunter bill. And we do so again today in the wake of the outrageous Supreme Court ruling that erased the vital protections of Roe v. Wade.
I don't know what to say about Texas going out of their way to sue the Biden administration to make sure women can die in childbirth in Texas, to say there should not be an exception for life of the mother.
Well, see, this is what scares me. They're going so hard, and they know that Texas is borderline a blue state, if everyone voted.
Right.
And it makes me wonder, they must know they're losing with this.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, what do they have up their sleeve for stealing these elections if they're not worried at all that these extreme measures they're taking won't make everybody vote against them?
I gotta say, a lot of people in Texas that I've heard from say Uvalde has changed a lot, and they think this really could be Beto O'Rourke's year, and especially the thing that just came out. Not just 19 good guys with guns; there were 400 good guys with guns in Uvalde. I mean,
I do think that has changed a lot of people. I've saw articles about people turning in their guns. I mean, sure, they kept some of the other ones they had, but the story just keeps getting worse, and it doesn't go away like most of these mass shooting stories.
Yeah.
It keeps coming back, and I think this is Beto O'Rourke's moment, and I think he does reach younger people who are apathetic about voting, or anyone any age who is. I really believe in him, and he's Gen X, and I feel like we need our moment. I'm sorry, I don't need to make this about my generation, but there's not a lot of Gen X politicians. So Ted Cruz is, which is embarrassing. We got to have the good people.
I'm with you, Jen.
Did you hear Ted Cruz? Like, they're just saying the quiet part out loud now. He's like, "Yep, coming for gay marriage. Gay marriage was wrongly decided." I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
What? And this is the thing. They don't care. They really, really don't care.
I
about
feel like
gay
marriage equality will be struck down almost the moment after I get either you and or Jen Garner to come to the other side and marry me, and just because that's how my life.
Well,
goes.
I don't believe in marriage anymore for me, gay or straight.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're never getting married anyway.
Oh, all right. Well, you have an out either way. No matter how much
Jen
coffee,
Garner,
no matter how much coffee I make.
You guys better do this soon because
Okay.
you want to be protected.
Okay. Well, like literally, if Glenn Kirshner is here again, I would have to say, there's no coffee for you. It is all for my Jen. And that means either you or Jen Garner.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Aniston.
And you say Glenn.
Or Aniston. I will take literally any. You're all hot. Every Jennifer is hot. That is my.
Cardinal
Prove me
rule.
wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Who's the hottest cabinet secretary? Jennifer Granholm. I rest my case.
Is that Miller's Law?
Yes, every Jen is hot.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay. This, by the way, as the purveyor of both the Anxiety Bites and No Fun podcasts, this will come as a great shock to you. A new study finds a significant difference in the reported mental health among voters who back Trump and ones who back Biden. As it turns out, the Trump voters are... Did you
off?
Did you see that coming? Yes.
No. And I hate to make fun of anyone with mental health issues, but it's like we kind of saw that. I mean, I keep hearing this could happen to anyone. Anybody could get seduced by him. But it does speak to people who maybe aren't handling their anxieties that well about the fact that they think in this, like in 10 seconds, somebody's coming to, quote, replace them or the world's moving too fast. I do think, I hate to be sympathetic towards anybody who's evil, but I do think at the end of the day, people are having anxiety about the world changing and they just need to be spoken to about it. Well, I don't know who's going to do it. I'll do it if you guys need me to.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me just when you hear interviews. You just think like, I don't know if this many people have always been this crazy or Trump just emboldened them to be crazy in public or
I think it's the emboldened. And I think people are getting crazier because they're being told that they're being replaced, and then they see their jobs going away. And my dad, who's kind of likes Trump and he's in his 80s, we had a conversation with him over July 4th. He thought that this whole electric car thing meant that like within 2 months, everyone's going to have to get one, and he doesn't have anywhere to plug it in. Like, his anxiety was literally this notion that as of this second, everything about his life has to change. And we were like, no, we're just slowly transitioning. Like, there's a choice. He didn't know because of the media he consumes, and he had to have his daughters explain it to him. Well, and it took a while, but that's the fear.
But give me 17, because if you watch Fox News even for a minute, basically what they cover all the time is Joe Biden is
losing it.
Not losing it, either dead and or
Maria Bartiromo.
Decrepit. Yes,
right.
We'll do that in a second.
Okay.
This is Tucker Carlson, right?
And I think the Trump campaign proved that they're not fully satisfied with the offerings. Fair? Fair. But again, the compared to what arises. Like, yeah, I don't, maybe this person isn't fully sincere. Maybe this person is even borderline repulsive, but please, like, compared to what?
Right. So less than sincere, meaning the biggest liar that we've ever seen in the public sphere.
Says that Trump is less than sincere and repulsive, but better than the alternative.
But that's their whole, like, that Biden is demented but this, yes, what Chris just said, Maria Bartiromo asked Ronnie Jackson, who served as physician to Trump and Barack Obama, if Biden is being fed drugs to allow him to function. I mean, this is nonstop, right, on Fox News?
Absolutely.
Okay. And if you watched a Trump rally, we play WTF Donnie because he doesn't have a coherent sentence ever.
No.
Okay. Maria Bartiromo said,
projection.
Yeah.
Right. And Ronnie Jackson is one of these people, like, he's just sold his soul. He knows none of this is true. He's the one that said Donald Trump weighs 239 pounds. I mean, he's as big a liar as Trump. Okay. Maria Bartiromo said, I know he goes home to Delaware a lot more than any other president. Well, that's because no other president was from Delaware, but so that's a scandal there.
But also, Delaware is just 2 states away.
And Trump played golf every weekend at taxpayer expense. Yeah. Okay.
And Biden is visiting the graves of his family and going to church. I mean, he has a computer. He can work, but he's not golfing.
Right. So I guess my question is, what did Obama know? What did Jill Biden know? Who's running the White House right now? Are they covering up for these mental issues? Jackson said, well, that's the big question everyone's asking.
No, not everybody's asking.
No one's asking.
Who's really pulling the strings? Who's really running the country right now? He said, really don't know the answer to that. He's got good days and bad days? Yeah, because none of the rest of us have good days and bad. Good, whether or not they have them on drugs, I don't know. There are drugs out there that can increase your alertness and your memory and your things of that nature, and cover stuff like this up temporarily. But I'm sure that's what's going on as well. But we don't know because this physician hasn't stood up and take questions the way I did when I was Trump's physician.
Oh my God.
When he stood up and lied about every single... He just put him just under the obesity threshold magically when anybody could tell he was, of course, not.
He wasn't the doctor that gave that famous press conference when Trump had.
No, that was a different doctor that covered up. This guy said he's in the best health of any president ever, and he lived to 200, and he's 239.
And how does Dr. Ronnie know about these magic pills that can help someone who's not in their right mind be coherent for a few hours?
And Trump, who is a notorious drug addict. I'm like, really? You're going to speculate that Joe Biden's on drugs when you know? Oh, my God. I can't even.
And listen, if a president was on drugs and not all there, it's a normal thing to be concerned about. So I don't disagree with anyone falling for this lie. It's just that they're falling for a lie.
Yes.
But how did they not see that was Trump? That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
You guys saw everyone who loves Trump, you saw his rallies where he didn't say words correctly.
Right.